Most men get this completely backwards. They assume that if a woman is drawn to them, she make it obvious. The reality? Very often when a woman genuinely finds you attractive, she go out of her way to conceal it. Sounds strange, right? But that's exactly how female psychology functions. Women feel deeply, yet they're also calculated when it comes to attraction. She might be into you, but rather than being direct, she tests you, hold back, or even behave as though she has zero interest at all. And if you can't decode those hidden signals, you'll let your opportunity slip by without ever noticing. Here's the thing. Women do this deliberately. They're instinctively guarded about revealing interest because they don't want to appear desperate, surrender their power, or open themselves up to rejection. Consider this. Men typically pursue. Women typically position themselves. That means her interest doesn't always come through in direct language, but instead through subtle actions, small changes in her demeanor, and cues that most guys completely fail to notice. What makes this even more maddening is that plenty of men misread her behavior entirely. They either chalk it up to simple friendliness or worse, conclude she's not interested and pull back entirely. Meanwhile, she's sitting there hoping you'll catch the small hints she keeps dropping. And let me be direct. If you can't spot these hidden signals, you'll forever find women puzzling and difficult to understand. But once you grasp how they operate, it's like a switch flips. Suddenly, her behavior makes complete sense. You'll be able to tell when she's genuinely interested in you, even while she's working hard to hide it. And that understanding hands you an edge most men will never possess. So in this video, we're going to unpack the real signs that a woman likes you, but is concealing it. I'm not talking about the generic, she laughs at your jokes, advice you've heard everywhere. I'm talking about the subtle psychological behaviors women rely on when they're attracted but don't want to make it obvious. Welcome to the channel. If you're genuinely committed to understanding women on a deeper level, instead of just playing guessing games, you've landed in the right spot. 1. She gets nervous around you but tries to play it cool. One of the most overlooked indicators that a woman likes you but is masking it is her nervousness. Now here's where a lot of men get it twisted. They assume nervous energy signals disinterest or unease, but in truth, when a woman is attracted to you, her emotions run higher. Her body reacts before her mind gets a chance to regulate it. That's precisely why you'll spot small signs of tension, twirling her hair, fidgeting with her phone, or suddenly straightening her clothes when you're nearby. These aren't random quirks. They're subconscious reactions that surface when she's conscious of your presence and doesn't want to slip up in how she comes across to you. But here's the tricky part. Even while she's nervous, she simultaneously tries to mask that nervousness by acting relaxed. She doesn't want you catching on too fast, because that would leave her feeling exposed. So she might glance away quickly right after eye contact. Or she speak in a slightly cooler tone to disguise the fact that she's genuinely thrilled you're there. Miss this dynamic and you'll misread her distance as disinterest, when actually it's the complete opposite. Another giveaway is her voice. A woman's voice often betrays her. When she's attracted to you but doesn't want you to know, her tone can shift, sometimes softer, sometimes higher pitched. This isn't something she's consciously deciding. It's her emotions leaking through. Pay close attention, and you'll pick up on that subtle contrast between how she talks to you versus how she talks to other men. Also, observe her body language in group settings. If you enter a room and she suddenly sits up taller, adjusts her outfit, or shifts her posture, that's not a coincidence. That's her becoming acutely aware of how she presents herself around you. She's nervous, yet determined to still put her best foot forward. Now here's where a lot of men blow it. They either completely ignore these cues or they respond the wrong way by calling it out directly. Saying something like, "Why are you so nervous?" will instantly shut her down because you've just exposed the very thing she was trying to conceal. The right approach is to stay calm and self-assured. Let her be a little nervous. It's actually a compliment. It means she cares how you perceive her. Think of it this way. Women don't get nervous around men they feel absolutely nothing for. If she's calm, casual, and totally unaffected, chances are you're just another face in her world. But if she's working hard to appear unbothered while her small habits keep giving her away, you've already made an impression. So next time you notice a woman acting slightly different around you, more fidgety, a bit inconsistent in tone, hyper-conscious of herself, don't mistake it for rejection. That's attraction wearing a disguise. And if you remain grounded, you give her room to reveal it more fully over time. 2. Her eyes reveal more than her words ever will. If there's one thing a woman can't fully control, it's her eyes. She might manage her words, her tone, even her overall attitude, but her eyes will always betray her. When a woman likes you but is working to hide it, her eyes frequently expose the truth her words won't confirm. Start with eye contact. Typically, when someone looks at you, they'll hold that gaze for a couple of seconds before glancing away. But when a woman is drawn to you, that eye contact feels different. Sometimes it stretches longer, almost as if she's holding your gaze to connect with you. Other times it cuts shorter, as though holding it makes her feel too exposed. Either way, the shift is noticeable. If she looks at you, then quickly looks away with a faint smile, or acts as if nothing happened, that's her feelings slipping out before she reins them back in. Another clear tell is when she looks at you in moments she doesn't need to. In a group setting, for instance, watch where her eyes naturally drift when she isn't speaking. If she keeps scanning the room and her gaze keeps landing back on you, that's attraction. She might not say a word, but she's watching. Women keep tabs on the men they like, even while pretending otherwise. Then there's the lingering glance, when she looks at you just a beat longer than usual. It's subtle, but once you spot it, you'll know it wasn't accidental. Sometimes she might even glance at your mouth while you're talking. That's her subconscious mind, exposing physical attraction, even as she tries to conceal it. Another sign is how her eyes react when you unexpectedly catch her staring. If she instantly looks away, suddenly gets busy, or grabs her phone, that's not chance. That's her covering for having been caught looking. A woman who feels nothing toward you won't care if you notice her looking. She hold her gaze casually. But one who's attracted to you will react as if she just got caught keeping a secret. It's also worth noticing how her eyes respond while you're speaking to her. Do her pupils widen slightly? Do her eyes brighten, even while her words stay neutral? These are physiological reactions of interest she can't consciously control. If her eyes are smiling even while she's pretending to seem indifferent, trust what you're seeing over what you're hearing. Men frequently overlook this because they fixate too heavily on what women say, but women are skilled at using words to mask their true feelings. Their eyes, on the other hand, are far harder to disguise. That's why the small details always deserve your attention. Here's the truth. If her words claim she's simply being friendly, but her eyes keep finding you, her attraction is real. She may not be ready to admit it yet, but her gaze has already given her away. 3. Body language that exposes her attraction. A woman's body language will always speak before her mouth does. Even while she's trying to conceal her feelings, her physical cues leak through because they operate below conscious control. Pay attention, and you'll notice her body frequently reveals what her words are working to deny. One of the most common tells is how she orients herself around you. If she consistently angles her body toward you during group conversations, that's not coincidence. People naturally turn toward those they feel pulled toward. Conversely, if she angles away or closes herself off, that usually signals disinterest. So when a woman is into you but doesn't want you to know, she may act casual, but her body will still betray her. Then there's the distance factor. Women tend to guard their personal space, especially around men they aren't drawn to. But when attraction exists, she shrinks that invisible barrier. Maybe she stands closer than necessary, brushes against you lightly, or leans in while you're talking even though she could easily hold back. Those small breaches of space aren't accidents. They signal that she feels comfortable and drawn toward you. Her hands offer another major clue. Many women unconsciously play with their hair, touch their neck, or straighten their clothing when they're around someone they like. It isn't always about wanting to look better. It's often nervous energy releasing itself. If you notice her fidgeting more around you than with other people, that's attraction leaking out physically. Another subtle cue is mirroring. When a woman mirrors your body language, crossing her legs when you cross yours, lifting her drink when you do, leaning back when you lean back, that's a subconscious method of building rapport. She's aligning herself with you without even realizing it. It's her body's way of communicating, I'm in sync with you. Also watch her posture. Around men she isn't attracted to, A woman's posture tends to stay neutral, relaxed, or even closed off. But when she likes someone, her posture typically becomes more attentive. She might straighten up, pull her shoulders back, or subtly arch her back to appear more feminine. These micro adjustments happen instinctively when attraction is present. Another strong indicator is her reaction to physical proximity. If you step slightly closer and she doesn't retreat, or even leans in further, that's interest. A woman who feels nothing toward you will typically maintain a polite gap, but one who's attracted, even while hiding it, will let you into her space. Finally, watch her feet. Yes, feet don't lie. In psychology, it's often said that feet point toward whatever a person is genuinely interested in. If her feet angle toward you while she's speaking with others, that means her attention is really centered on you. Here's the reality. Women are experts at concealing feelings through words, but their bodies are far harder to regulate. Observe closely, and her body language will always reveal the truth before her mouth ever does. 4. The accidental jealousy test. When a woman likes you but doesn't want you to know it, one of her favorite tactics is testing your reaction through jealousy. She won't openly confess her feelings, but she engineers small situations to gauge how much you actually care. It's understated, but once you learn to recognize it, it becomes obvious. For instance, she might casually bring up another guy in conversation. She mentioned how funny he is or how he texted her something interesting. On the surface, it sounds harmless, but underneath she's watching you closely. She's tracking whether your energy shifts, whether you look bothered, whether you question her, or whether you seem indifferent. That reaction tells her exactly how invested you actually are. Another common move is being flirty in front of you, not excessively, but just enough to trigger a response. Maybe she laughs a little louder at another man's joke, or lightly touches his arm mid-conversation. Women know these behaviors provoke men, and if she likes you, she wants to see whether you'll show signs of protectiveness or competitiveness. It isn't because she wants the other guy, it's because she wants to gauge her effect on you. Sometimes jealousy tests appear in subtler forms. She might, for example, post certain pictures on social media knowing you'll see them, or suddenly get busy and mention spending time with someone you barely know.